Hi, I'm David Brier, and I'm a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Wow. The red light is on, boys and girls, and that can only mean one thing. We're doing Results Leader Live today, and I only do that when I have a special guest. I only do that when it's super important. So those of you, if you're tuning in live, welcome. This is Results Leader, and I do my best to bring you the guys and gals out there who are bringing the biggest results for their clients, and today's guest is no exception. I met this guy. I knew immediately I had to get on with him, and then I threw all my friends at him. I said, we all got to do this. We all got to do this. We're going to change the world. That's the kind of inspiration that I have gotten. And I'm going to bring him on in just a second, but this guy's a branding guru. I'm calling him the king of branding, but I don't know what he wants me to really call him. Maybe just David Brier, the branding guy, rising above the noise. Let me just bring this chap in here. What's up, brother?
Dude, with that kind of intro, I'm putting this on, man.
Damn, look at that.
I'm going all in, man. I'm going all in right there, dude.
Man, I have a script, and I want you to know that. And I feel like I might have to break the script. Flip the script a little bit. Flip the script.
Please.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll go into some bonus time afterwards. I want to get the actual interview and the questions done, but there's other stuff that I feel like we could rap about. How do you feel about that?
Let's rock and roll, man. I'm game.
This guy is ready to go. So let's do this, man. Welcome, David, to ResultsLeader.fm. We're going to give our listeners a quick win. What book or books have you given most as a gift?
Oh, there's no... dude. This is the book I've given most as a gift. There's no question.
No,
about it.
I'm going to call BS on that.
It's true.
No,
it's totally true.
I'm going to call BS.
Go for it. Tell me.
Because you didn't give it to me. I had to go buy it. I think you just hold it up and make people go buy it, but you ain't giving that thing as a gift.
No. Your question was, what is the book I've given most? It's not limited to present company. It's not, but I'm going to be challenged. I'm good with it.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get a copy. Hold it back up there. Say the names, because this is an audio show. They can't hear you holding that up.
Okay. So here, first of all, that is the cover. That is the hard cover. This thing is not for the meek. Okay. It's called Brand Intervention, and it is 33 steps to transform the brand you have into the brand you need. And my buddy, Damon John from Shark Tank, wrote the foreword right there. Boom. And it is, tons of people have really been incredible supporters of it. Claude Silver from VaynerMedia, and Ted Rubin and Stu Showerman from KnowBe4. They became a unicorn within 8 years of applying the principles in this. Those are some of the peeps that are behind it. And Grant Cardone, of course, loves it as well. So bada boom, bada bing. Bam! He's
got all the credentials. I wanted him to put that out there so you knew that you had to listen to every single word that we drop on this. So now I want to go into story time, David. I want you to tell me a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Perfect. Okay. So the basic thing was, growing up in New York, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Manhattan, I spent a lot of my youth as an artist and painting and all this kind of stuff. And if you're for those that are seeing the videos, right there where my finger is, that's a painting of George Harrison. They did that when I was about 16 years old. Okay. And the other stuff, that's artwork around my office, blah, blah, blah. The interesting thing, though, is that when you learn and you're going into being a designer, or you're going into a specific craft, normally, and this can apply to anybody that's listening, that like if you're in a craft, and this is what I ran into, you focus on your craft. I'm going to perfect my craft. I'm going to do it better than anybody else. I'm going to be amazing. And there's a heck of a lot you don't know if you're going into business. And so probably the first 11, 12 years of my career, I was winging it by the seat of my pants. It was like, how do I negotiate? How do I price? How do I structure a project for a client? All these various things that I didn't have someone that I mentored under, so I winged it. So that was a dismal failure. There were highs and there were lows, like near like no pulse flatlining lows. And so I started to get and appreciate, and while my heroes growing up were great artists, whether they were everyone from Andy Warhol and Peter Max to Rembrandt and Vinci and Michelangelo. I mean, it was the whole spectrum. My later heroes were the entrepreneurs who changed the world, as well as everyone from Martin Luther King to Steve Jobs to Richard Branson. So those that actually had the ability to cohese groups of people to go, yes, they agree on that one thing. They can embrace something. So that early I took it a little bit for me to recognize, oh crap, I freaking have blind spots up the ass, and I need to really get over those.
I think we're going to use that clip. All right. So let's think back over the last 5 years. What new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Wow. I would say the discipline of really, as I've increased, and I'm always pushing myself for a new high, going over and really not just sort of kind of winging it, but I look at the week ahead. I look at the day ahead. I advise this to people that I mentor as well as myself. I can't just think I'm amazing and therefore everything will go great. I think that's the internal Superman that many of us have. It's like, oh, I'm freaking amazing. I'm gold. So of course, I'm just going to show up and everything is just going to turn out amazing. The damsel in distress will be saved, and the big gorilla, hanging on the skyscraper, be taken out, etc. And world peace will, come, and everyone will be happy and prosperous. It doesn't exactly happen that way. So what I've basically done, and the new belief, the new discipline I would put in would be the factor of, okay, going ahead, looking at what is tomorrow, what's this week, not from the standpoint of what is my calendar telling me, but what am I aware of to absolutely run the kind of discipline, control, and order onto my calendar that it requires for me to be the badass that everyone actually considers me to be.
Most artists, because you said you're an artist, most artists don't have that discipline and that big picture thinking of what's next. And even with this interview, you said, don't send me the questions. Let's play this like jazz music. Let's freestyle. So how do you work those two sides of your personality to maximize?
Well, it's just, I don't really have any doubt on my ability to do my craft well. So it was kind of like basically getting a little humble. I know that might come naturally to some. For me, it was kind of like a new experience.
Yeah, I mean, really, come on.
So I had to get a little humble and go, okay, maybe I need to know some other things to complement this. So it becomes a bit of a discipline point and going, okay, like for example, my wife is brilliant at organizing. She's brilliant at planning things out. She's brilliant at taking things apart and really troubleshooting them, really like no one I've ever known. So I respect that skill set of hers. And so what happens is I'll lean into that and I'll go, okay, I know where my strength is. I know where I can crush it. You put me in the ring, I will dominate, I will clobber, I will destroy whatever opponent I have in that ring of creation and originality and ingenuity. Bam, I will slay whatever I'm facing. But on the other side, planning things out. So the things to serve that ingenuity, to make that ingenuity possible, to survive the mayhem that can sometimes surface when you're like going, that's it. We're not going to do things ordinarily. We're not going to do things normal. We're not just going to do things blah, 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 blah. Same day, different shit, same day, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do that. So that's the thing. That's how I balance it out.
What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Just keep going and everything will turn right. Really? Is this the lottery? Is it like if I just buy enough lottery tickets, it's like one time I'll finally win. I'll win $15 after spending $7,422 and just $2 at a time or whatever. So the thing is that notion of just keep doing it. Bullshit. That's not real for me. It's like we need to own. It's like, is there something about this that I don't know? And is there something about this I don't know? How do I increase my knowledge about it? And I go, it's kind of one step in front of me, and boom, 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 boom. How do I increase that to have the proper level of ownership over the things that I'm running into? So the idea that if you're good, you'll make it. If you're passionate, you'll make it. These sort of wonderful traits and characteristics that those are somehow going to result in wonderful karma coming your way. I think that that's a crock. I think that that's just false.
Can you make it without passion, though?
No, but put it this way. That's like saying, can you make a meal without food? No, you can't. But if I take the same ingredients, give it to Chef A, who's a bozo, who's never cooked in his or her life, and then I give it to Chef B, who's Gordon Ramsay, same food. Do they both require food? Yes, they do. Which one are you going to want to eat?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. Hashtag resultsleaderfm. Now let's jump back into the interview. All right, let's talk about the real deal here.
Yeah.
Why do results matter?
Well, results matter because I don't know of anybody that shows up just to show up. I don't know of anybody that just shows up. It's like, oh, okay, I'm just here. I'm here to lend support. No, the bottom line is if I have shown up, one is that I feel better when I know that I have effectively helped others. So that's why results matter. Two, it confirms that I'm in my game, that I'm doing my thing. But here's the one thing that I think completes the whole thing of why results matter. Results can be viewed in two different ways. One, results can be like, okay, hey, my pockets are lined, my pockets are filled. Yeah. Well, at a certain point, there's only so much cash, coins, or possessions that you can fit in your freaking pockets. At a certain point, if you don't start putting it out and actually saying, okay, how do I actually now help others also do this? That way you start feeling, that's to me is effectiveness and results. And those are the results that matter. If it's an insular thing, some of the most miserable people I've known have been incredibly wealthy. But why were they miserable? Because they were narcissistic and it was an insular life. They never gave back. They never said, wait a second, there's a lot to this. We're overflowing. How do we redirect some of this capability and knowledge and insight to others so that they can do it too and now start to really build up something special? That to me is what results are really all about.
You used an interesting term there that I like. You said overflowing, and you just kind of grazed over that. How did you figure that out? Most people don't even get to the point of overflowing and then use it for a positive purpose. How did you figure out, I'm satisfied, now I got to take care of other people?
Yeah. No, it's a great question and an important question. It was a lot of my life, probably in the past 3 decades, I've always been involved in giving back in one way or another. Causes that I support or looking at different things. And I think when I decided to write my book, and for those that were not listening earlier, shame, that's called brand intervention by me. Anyway, but the thing is about that book is that I was like, over the past 30 plus years prior to writing the book, I was like, there are these same questions that I keep hearing. If I don't put this down somewhere for others to get it, it's just going to be me helping people on one-on-one basis. All right, I'll help you, and helping my clients. But what if 365, 24/7, anybody could access this information? So that was the first thing. And then when I started to do that and I realized, oh shit, if I don't start to do like a regular sort of scheduled getting things out there, that's what started my 1 Minute Wednesdays YouTube series. And I was like, shit, if I just put out the book and I don't have stuff to follow up, people who don't know me yet, they're going to think, oh, he's a one-shot wonder. Okay, nice book. Now what else has he got? So I started to I demanded of myself every week, I will now put out that 1 Minute Wednesday and make it valuable. I'm not just going to put some out just to put some out and sort of do whatever. It was going to be something valuable. And I started to put it out. And I found that the more I put it out, it was kind of like you can pour from a full pitcher. An empty pitcher, you can't. So the thing that was happening, I put it out. I would kind of like became empty. Now all of a sudden I had new ideas. I'd put it out and then I'd have new ideas. So I realized by continuing to flow it outward and give, I was getting richer because it just like kept on having more and more to give. So that's how it happened.
Beautiful, man. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
That nobody should be allowed to get away with ordinary. I mean, seriously, with my client, it's like, well, you know, we can do da. I said, what's this little incremental, tentative kind of blah, 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 blah. First of all, where the hell is the conviction? And do you want to do an evolution or a revolution? And I'll ask those questions. It's like an evolution is this little incremental, little da. And is that what you want to do? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're going to do that, someone's going to come along and kick your ass very easily, because we must be our own worst enemy. So in other words, I've just done something great last week. Great. Now just sort of coast into the sunset, knowing I did that last week. No, and not if I plan on being around. So now I have to outdo what my previous best. So I have to be my own worst enemy. And by doing that, I'm always upping my game. Otherwise, someone will come along and very graciously be my own worst enemy for me. So that's the fact you got to face up to.
I love that concept. I did a show that I called Never Be Satisfied, and it sounds like the same thing. But most people out there are like, when are you going to be satisfied? When are you going to be happy with your work? When are you just going to be happy? Are you ever going to be happy, David?
If the last thing I did was good, I'll be happy about that. Now I'm not riding on that happiness contact buzz to coast me through. See, there's this little insidious thing that we've all seen. It's called entitlement. It's like, I should be recognized. I should be more successful. I should be more appreciated. And that entitlement thing erodes at our power. It is poison. It is toxic. And so anything that is a cousin of the entitlement thing. So look, if I did something great last week, great, that was last week. And I'm happy that happened. But I'm not going to rely on that to now make me feel happy today. It's up to me now to do something today with you right now. We're here right now, you and me. What's going to make me happy? What's going to make me happy is giving you good quality responses to your questions. These are great questions. And to those that are tuning in, it's like, look, it's like, what's going to make me happy is that they decided to show up and they said, holy shit, not only was that great, but now I'm even more allegiant to Jonathan than I was before the show. That would make me happy.
That would make me happy too. Allegiance. All right. What area of your business would you like better results?
I would say I handle a certain range of clients and a wide range of clients. I would love to have more clients that impact bigger areas. So whether it's a region or a nation, but like really have an impact. And so I'd love to have more of those as part of my roster of clientele.
Why?
Well, because let's see, the world ain't getting better on its own. So, you know, the thing is that those of us that really care, that's the thing. If those of us that really care, the more we align and support one another and empower one another from the standpoint of proactivity, not because anybody deserves it, not in any of that stuff. You know, it's like because the factor of like, oh, wow, so-and-so's doing something great. Bam, flow them some freaking power, right? Do it. Lean into it. And the more that more of us are doing it, the more that just things can be better and things can be more fulfilling and richer and more overflowing.
Flow them some more power. I like it. I like it. All right. What results are you most proud of?
The results I'm most proud of is when I actually help creators. And what I consider creators, I consider entrepreneurs creators. I consider those who initiate things creators. No matter whether they're a public speaker or whatever endeavor, if they're in a creative field, a field where they're actually initiating things, and I have helped them in some way to realize that they don't have to settle for little incremental improvements and that they are actually quite impervious. Yes, they may get knocked down here and there. They may try something and it falls and it fails, but they go, okay, good. And they pick themselves up faster than you can even say, did you just, you know, and they're already up, bam. And they just have that resilience. That's the thing that gives me the greatest joy. And I've seen that. I mean, I've seen that with clients and I've seen that with people who are fans and followers and stuff like that. But when I started doing the masterclass, which is really people getting immersed for 9 weeks with me, and really they end up knowing more about marketing and branding than anybody who's graduated with an MBA. It's not even comparable. and they will smoke them, but they will not only know, they're not going to know the answers, quote unquote. They're going to understand it to their core. Because to me, I have one mantra I live by: rules enable one to follow, knowledge enables one to lead. Rules are for the lazy. It's like, okay, I know the answer. Well, that blah, 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 blah. That's a rule. No, that's bullshit, because that puts the power into the rule. I want the power into you. So that's what I operate on. Rules enable one to follow, knowledge enables one to lead. And my greatest thrill is seeing someone light up after we've gone through something together and they go, holy shit, I will never, ever be able to be taken down by that blind spot ever again.
I can't wait for that experience. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you, number one, any parting thoughts for this part of the interview, and then we might do a little bonus stuff afterwards. So any parting thoughts for the results leaders listening on the podcast later in the future? Parting thoughts would just be, when you're looking at results, never overlook. Don't ask the wrong question. Like, how am I going to get better? That to me is the wrong question as far as results. How is my life? How am I going to become a more resourceful source of power to help empower and elevate others? That will be the foundation upon which you crush it as far as results. The other one is like, okay, great. Maybe you become a millionaire. Who gives a shit? I mean, so what? That doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, the amount of zeros, the amount of commas and stuff, that does not equate to results and power in my book. It is one metric, and sometimes it parallels. But like I said earlier, I've known tons of narcissistic millionaires who were some of the most miserable people. And would I consider they had good results? No, they were miserable, because money is an amplifier. Money is the great amplifier. If you were an idiot when you were poor, you'll now just be a more resourceful idiot when you're rich. So you'll find more expensive ways to do stupid things. But if you were a nice, kind, giving, benevolent, empowering person when you didn't have the money and you moved up the ranks, you will do great things. So money is the great amplifier. People are definitely going to want to connect with you. We're going to share all your links in the show notes, of course. But why don't you give the listeners some places they can go and get more from you? So one place you can certainly go is to my website, risingabovethenoise.com. That's RISING, risingabovethenoise.com. Tons of articles. You can subscribe to the blog. You can get some free books and stuff like that. You can certainly get my book, Brand Intervention. And I would absolutely recommend that. If anybody's looking at elevating their game and elevating their business, get Brand Intervention. And certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm there. I post stuff every day. I have tons of resources there. And of course, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. But I would say website, the book, and LinkedIn. Just let's hook up. Let's hook up. That's right. Yo, word. Oh man, I dig it. So I'm gonna do a little close here for the official podcast, and I want to talk to you about marketing and branding as a little bonus. So we've been talking with Mr. David Brier, risingabovethenoise.com. I hope I got that right. And thank you, results leaders, for tuning in. That is a wrap for another edition of Results Leader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to resultsleader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.
All right, let's do some bonus content. What I want to talk about is you have a very unique perspective, and I think there's 3 silos, but in particular, and we've had this conversation privately, but the difference between marketing, branding, and maybe even sales. Can you just kind of draw a line in the sand what those 3 departments do and how they work together? Perfect. Absolutely. So the thing is that, so a lot of attention often goes on sales. You know, we got to do sales. We got to acquire customers. We got to get a client acquisition. And then a lot of folks on sales. Okay, fine. Yes, you do have to have sales, but there are things that precede successful sales. Otherwise you become key. Otherwise, without these prior 2 things, you become a transactional company.
Oh, okay, you close a deal, good. No. You close it, and everyone says it's a transaction. It's a onesie, twosie. That's it. Marketing, the job of marketing, if you are listening to this and you have a marketing department, their job, and I've seen some CEOs and business owners do this. Oh, let's go to, oh, damn, our brand, we need a blah, 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 blah for our brand. Let's go to the marketing department. No. That's kind of like going like, oh, my son who has some tools in the garage. Hey, my Porsche, it needs some detailing work. Hey, he's got some tools. He's got some stuff. No, those are not the same thing. So the thing is that marketing's job is to deploy, to get stuff out. Okay. It's like, oh, we've got the brand. We've got the thing. We need to do a promotion to promote a new service, a new subscription plan, a new offering, etc. So that's marketing's job. Marketing's job is not to do a brand. Brand comes what? Before that. Without that, marketing is flying by the seat of their pants. It's like, oh shit, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Let's try this. Hey, how about this? It's like, hey, our competition's doing, that's a big one. Oh, our competition, they just lowered their price. We need to lower our price. You get all this kind of reactionary bullshit. So sequence is branding first. You know what you stand for, why anybody should care, and what's your differentiator? How are you unlike these other things? Because if you don't handle the branding part, what's going to happen? You're going to be seen as one more option. Now, if you're one more option, your value is not crystal clear. Your distinction is not crystal clear. You're more often than not going to be competing on price. So you get branding. Get that as your foundation. That's your rock. And it doesn't limit you. It's not a limit. It's not like, well, we're a blah, blah, blah company. First of all, if you say something like that, you don't know what the hell branding is. No one's, we're a blah, 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 blah company. Bullshit. One of the greatest ads in the world, it was brilliant because it resurrected Apple from near death, was when Steve Jobs came back and they came out with the Think Different campaign. And they had an amazing Think Different campaign. And it talked about the crazy ones, the ones who basically refused to adhere to the status quo, and the ones who believed that they could change the world. Well, the interesting thing about that ad, just to give you a clear concept, that ad showed no product. It showed no computer. Most of those people never even used computers because we showed Einstein, Picasso, Thomas Edison, John Lennon, Bob Dylan, Miles Davis, and Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Mahatma Gandhi. These are all the people that were in it because they all had a shared value of not conforming to what was, but willing to usher in something new. And so that was their brand. Did that limit them? Hell no. That gave them the universe, but no tech company had ever done that. They weren't talking about technology. They weren't talking about this. They weren't talking about that. That was the nucleus, the foundation. And from there, they could market any product, iPad, iPhone, the iMac, whatever, so, and then of course that leads to sales. So it goes that way because the final thing I'll put on this is that what does branding ultimately do? It opens eyes, it opens minds, it opens hearts. If you don't have an open eyes, open mind, and open heart, you're never going to get anybody to open their freaking wallet.
That's where the sales come in. I love it, man. I love it. Cool. By the way, I want you to know I kept you under 30 minutes for the real interview, but I had to get the little bonus in there.
Absolutely.
I had to get it in there, man. I appreciate you. I'm stoked to be working with you. David, man, I appreciate you. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that Mike introduced us, brother.
Absolutely. The madman, the original madman himself.
That's right. All right, man, make it a great day. And I know we'll be texting in like 10 minutes.
Without probably 9.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Thank you.